Hey everybody, and welcome to my In5 series on the Teenage Engineering's OPXY. We've brought in the big guns today for doing another brain style flip. Today I want to do a breakbeat, and I want to talk about a few things of like what works, what doesn't work, like where you can go have fun, get off the rails. But yeah, the OPXY has no chopping feature right now. Maybe it'll get implemented in the future. I've just been offloading it to the MPC or the Dirty Wave M8 or whatever I have that is at hand that has chopping in it. Just use it. If you don't have that, you got a phone, use Koala. Whatever you got, just use it. It's totally fine and will still get you a very similar or same result. So what I'm going to do is hop into my SSD card. I'm going to go to samples, go to style folder. We've got breaks. And I just want to take any old break. Shouldn't matter too much. Let's, yeah, like this is fun. Like we get like a little bit of echo, 58 BPM. We're going to load it to the pool. I'm then going to double tap edit here. And I would say don't get too worried about your chops being perfect, especially as you're just experimenting. And this is where I'm just going to say, I'm just going to do a chop regions. I'm doing 16 because it should be good enough. Now, if you're not chopping out each individual component, this may not end up working totally great for you. We can already hear like stuff kind of lines up a little weird. But again, I'm not really worried about it. We're just going to get this in here and kind of work with it. So I've got track 1 here on the OPXY. I'm just going to hold shift and hit the 1 here. I'm going to move off, select E piano, hit 1, go back to drums. The reason why I'm doing this is to make sure my drum track is completely empty. You could go make and save this as a template and have it set up, but I'm not going to bother doing that right now. So empty track. This is a little tedious, but basically we're just going to record in. Actually, I'm going to redo that. I'm going to do that. I think I can handle max volume here. There we go. That sounds way better. And again, we're just going to cycle through each one. And as I said, this is, yes, kind of tedious and annoying, but the results can be worth it. And if you want to make cool stuff that nobody's heard before, you got to be willing to put in the time to do things that nobody else is willing to do. Oh, whoop. Don't want to overwrite that. So these chops sound kind of weird. I'm not going to lie, but I do think we're going to get a really fun result out of this. Almost done. Now you do have a couple options. What I have done sometimes in the past is thrown a filter on and recorded in some of these remaining notes here at the bottom. I wish I had more room on my screen here. Maybe on the next video I'll get it closer, but you can see we've got 7, 8, or not 7, 8. We got some of these notes here have nothing on it. I could do like a lo-fi version of these sounds by putting an effect on the MPC here to dirty it up. I'm not going to do that right now. I could also take and get very specific narrow chops where we don't have all the extra melodic content going on, but let's kind of slide the MPC out of the way now. It is not as useful or necessary. You're going to hear it's playing currently at a lower volume. Just hit +1 if it does that, because you can basically pitch up an octave. Just leave it where it is. And as I said, this is a 58 BPM loop. So let's just go hit 58 so that we're in time, because our chops are kind of sloppy. If we play everything perfectly, it'll be in time. And I'm just going to take this and drop these in just to kind of show how this works. And apparently we need to double the time up because the slices are playing shorter than I expected. A quick way to do this is we just go 1 and hit 0 and play it at the track at half speed. So this is basically now playing twice the BPM. Anyway, doesn't really matter for the purposes of this. We now want to switch over and hop into Brain, switch from auto to manual. We then need to go to page 2 and rotate the darkest gray knob to turn on for track 1. And this will allow us to now flip this track up by playing different notes on Brain. Because what it's going to do is start grabbing different parts of those slices and playing them in different order. So you can get some really funky effects here, especially if you start changing the BPM to play faster or slower. But just for the purpose of having it sound halfway decent, that's why I'm playing the BPM at the same BPM, or actually doubled BPM of the OPXY. Now, you can hear it's dropping in silence, so it's still got the same rhythmic, it's just the 4 on the floor, but it's sometimes not playing. And the reason why is, back to here, some of these chops don't have anything on them. So as we go through and we're experimenting with Brain, I do find that like there are ways to use this and get like some just really cool sounds where it just changes things up. Because now we can start looking at, if I go back here, let's say we want to set this back to playing at a different speed. We can just start dropping in, just mix up. Maybe you think this sounds good, maybe you don't, but we've got a longer pattern. I can now still come in and flip this out and have it just kind of play different things. And by itself, doesn't sound really cool, but you start doing this with a lot of samples and you can start getting really neat effects. Anyway, guys, hope this helps you out. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.